with Central Connecticut State University Athletic Director Paul Schlickmann and new head coach today. How were you able to select Pete out of your candidacy pool?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we had a terrific pool by volume, by caliber of candidates, and I think that's a testament to this institution and the way people in the coaching profession perceive, this job, and the fact that we have the right infrastructure, we've got the requisite resources to be successful. And I think people who really in the coaching profession are paying attention really understand that. So I think that's why we had such a great pool. Why did Pete rise to the top? For me, initially, it was just the sense of passion and enthusiasm that he really wanted to be here, and he had a great understanding of Central. He certainly had the understanding and the belief that he could come in here and be successful. And as our discussions evolved and continued, I got to get a clear understanding of his philosophy, of his plan, the substantive nature of it. And I just believe that he had the right philosophy and plan and requisite skills to be a great head coach for us and do all the things we needed to do to be successful, to have competitive success, to have at the forefront of his mind the academic success and social success of our student athletes, to be a great ambassador for us on campus and in the community, and many, many other things. But there was a whole slew of things, but those were the ones that really stood out and drew me to him initially, and certainly the same qualities that impressed the committee and everybody with whom he came in contact while he was on campus for his visit.
Now, you talked during the press conference about his ability to rebuild. He obviously took that New Haven program from the ground up. You guys have struggled the last few years. How important is it that he has the ability to rebuild a program?
Well, certainly having done that, I think, is certainly it played into our thought process, and certainly was a factor and a consideration in terms of the timing of our search, the current state of our program, and why in many ways he was a great fit for us. So it's not completely analogous in terms of we're not starting from scratch, but he took a program in New Haven that was nationally prominent in Division II, and then they dropped it for a couple of years. So took it out of dormancy and then really had to rebuild it from scratch. And he had to be very cognizant of trying to rebuild something that would be very competitive to serve the constituents of the university and otherwise, to do it the right way and bring in the right high character, high caliber student athletes, and have people feel good about building it. And he did it the right way, and he built it into a consistent NE10 championship team, a team that acquitted themselves well on a national Division II level. And I think the analogy to us is we also have a great history and tradition of success in football. We have underachieved in the last 3 years, so we've been on a little bit of a downswing. But we have the right resources. We have the right people who want to see us be successful. We have, I think, good kids in the program, and now we have someone who has been through somewhat of a rebuilding project, and so now his plan and the way he's going to approach things, the type of staff he's going to put together, the way he's going to challenge our student athletes is, I think, going to translate very well. And I think you're going to see a really fun team to watch. I think you're going to see kids who are doing all the right things on campus and in our program. And so all of those factors in terms of helping to reestablish or maximize who he can be were certainly factors in terms of viewing what he did at New Haven to rebuild that program.
Did the fact that he did it in Connecticut have anything to do with this hire? The fact that he knows the Connecticut high school coaches and has a relationship with them?
Well, certainly there's the geography is I think beneficial in some ways. I wouldn't say it was a major factor, but it's certainly a bonus in terms of transition. So he's dialed into the high school coaches in this state. He's got great relationships. They recruit heavily in the state, and so he has a very clear understanding of the nature of FCS talent in this state and the type of student athlete we want to recruit here. He was at a fellow league school in Albany, so the combination of those two, knowing, being tied in and dialed into the state of Connecticut and everything that goes along with that, and we have great FCS level talent in the state of Connecticut, and we certainly want to yield, the majority of those kids. I think that's, we think they should be at Central Connecticut because it's a great place to play. It's a great institution. It's a great value. and we want to be that premier program. So the combination of understanding the league, having been at Albany, which was a perennial contender or champion in the NEC, and then having been at New Haven and recruiting a lot of those, similar caliber players, great combination. I think it's something that's certainly going to translate well for him in his transition and make it that much more seamless.
That's Paul Schlickmann, the Central Connecticut Athletic Director, on the hire of Pete Rosamondo, the 13th head coach in Central Connecticut history.